Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. The fact that you're willing to sacrifice a few minutes out of your day to consume my content really does mean the world to me. And today we're going to be talking about the new Netflix documentary series called Night Stalker. So Night Stalker it's an incredibly powerful documentary true crime series about Richard Ramirez, otherwise known as the Night Stalker. He was an incredibly infamous, notorious serial killer. And hearing about his story was tough. I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched many true crime documentaries or series or movies before. This was the first one I really engrossed myself in and tried to engage with. And I won't lie, true crime it's scary. True crime is very scary because if there's one thing I love, it's movies. And the great thing about movies, even horror movies, is it's fictional. The scary thing about this wasn't fictional. This was a true story about an individual who was truly disturbed. And the horrific acts he committed are true. People really suffered at his hand. So let me just break down this series for you guys. Night Stalker is 4 episodes long, each about 45 minutes in length, basically breaking down the case of the Night Stalker. We start off with his first few crimes in the first episode, second episode his later crimes, the third episode is basically the culmination of everything, followed by the fourth episode, which is when he's on the run from the police, how he got captured, how he got detained, and basically his life imprisonment and what ends up happening to him. It is an incredibly unsettling series. It is incredibly well edited and narrated. It's a very well-made series, but the subject matter is incredibly unsettling. If you are a true crime fan, this series is perfect for you. It brilliantly breaks down the details of these crime scenes, of the horrific incidents that happened. It is incredibly detailed and well thought out and well paced. It's a very well-made series. If you don't enjoy true crime, do not watch this. I got a serious uneasy feeling in my stomach multiple times watching this. It can be very difficult to watch. So even though I struggled to watch this series, I'm not going to deny how well it was made. This was an incredibly well-made series. Something I found incredible was how they were able to take these photos, these real-life photos taken of the crime scenes, and edit them into an actual series with moving images. It's very difficult, and I've noticed even when I do my own editing, sometimes it's very difficult to use still images in a series or a documentary. You have to really be very clever and smart with the way you edit everything to incorporate images into a documentary. And they did that very, very well with a combination of different cuts, zooms, and editing styles. That you never once go, oh, this is an image, okay, this is boring. It doesn't ever break your engagement with the series. They edited it in an incredibly engaging, fast, fun way. In regard to cinematography, of course, they just used a lot of news clippings and stuff like that from real life. If you go back to the 70s, you can actually find all of these news articles, and they use these official news articles that news agencies and distribution companies were releasing at the time, which was awesome. It was awesome to see this real life stuff taking place in this documentary. But one thing they also did, which I thought was incredibly engaging and definitely added to the uneasy atmosphere and this feeling of dread, is they got these incredible close-ups of this gun and the firing and this bloody hammer falling on the ground. These were all, of course, filmed nowadays with really, in my opinion, fantastic cameras, because they were able to get this intense slow motion of this hammer falling down. And I think that's also the PD and CMS, the set design. They did a great job with the makeup effects on this hammer. They made it look like this ordinary hammer, this prop, had actually been used as a weapon in a gruesome murder. Which doesn't necessarily sound good, but the fact that they were using this prop and they made it look so realistically bloody helped the viewer, the audience, you and me, engage with the series. And I thought they did it really, really, really well. Another thing I thought was really good in helping engage you with the story and the narrative that was being said is the detectives that they got on the case and the witnesses they got on the case. They were all really good natural speakers. You can tell straight away when someone isn't natural on camera. and it can suck you out of the immersion completely. So it was refreshing to listen to detectives and witnesses who were able to tell a compelling story. And of course, they all got emotional at different parts within the documentary. It's an incredibly emotional story. I don't know how anyone will be able to tell the story without getting emotional. But they were really able to relay this information onto us. And it's hectic. It is hectic listening to these survivors tell their story. There were a few things that really stood out to me about this documentary. The first one being that this might be a spoiler for those of you that really care about the details of the story. So this is a quick spoiler warning. But what I thought very interesting was that Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, although the cops handed out all the evidence and they were able to track down the identity of this man, it wasn't actually the cops that caught him. It was the neighborhood. It was the people. It was the citizens who rallied together and actually captured this guy and handed him over to the police. It was ordinary citizens, ordinary good people coming together and standing up to this bully, to this nasty, nasty person. And that was incredible to me. Ordinary people helped save the day. To me, that was amazing. And another thing that actually sent shivers down my spine, and I hated it, is the amount of people that supported him. In the final episode, they talk about Richard Ramirez and his court case and how he was handling himself during all of his time in court. And they spoke about all the groupies that were there, all of the women that were sexually attracted to him and wanted to support him and wanted to hook up with him. And it's always very unsettling to me. I have this discussion with my girlfriend quite often about the fan base of true crime and how lots of women really glamorize and glorify serial murderers. And that was brought to light here in this documentary as well. It's incredibly unsettling knowing that there are people that can ruin entire families, ruin entire communities, and then there's a subsection of humanity that will glorify that person. In my opinion, Richard Ramirez was a disgusting, disgusting person, and I don't like anything he did. And it's incredibly sad to me knowing that there are people out there that think what he did was worth supporting, worth glorifying, and worth glamorizing. That's incredibly tough to me because there are people out there that think, cool, this guy's a murderer, he's a rapist, but there's something cool about him. That really just ripped me to shreds watching it. So guys, honestly, I would highly recommend those of you that love true crime, watch this documentary, watch this series. It is captivating. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time because I wanted to know what happened to this murderer, what happened to this rapist. But it is incredibly emotional and it can be incredibly, incredibly tough to watch at times. But guys, thank you so much for watching my review. You guys are the best. You're awesome. And I hope to see you in another review.